Don't need to look now because I think that's you.
The way my vision is.
No, you're the nitty gritty guy. Nice to meet you.
Now we're on it.
You're the nitty gritty guy.
Yeah, we're still. Okay, we'll do the Zoom. Do the Zoom. And. Yeah,
So it's not back in it.
it's recording this, but it's not put it on YouTube. Let me sit up here.
No, that's all right. The ones that from the next person, they sit there.
What?
When this place is filled, they sit there. You can sit here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Listen, to me, nobody does.
That's, yeah. That's tropical heat wave up there and the snow is melted. I did feel the tropical breeze when I was out there.
You guys have been here too long. You're seeing
I
things.
can't argue that.
Are you ready to roll yet?
Technically, we got 1 minute, but you can, whatever you want through the. Probably close enough.
Town of the Pointe Planning and Zoning Town Plan Commission, regular monthly meeting, Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025, 4:30. Town Hall, call to order.
Brummer.
Tim Peters.
Paul Wilhelm.
Ron Socek. A public comment. Ollie, you got anything to say?
Depending on what you do about scheduling a public hearing for zoning rights talks. Not at this time, in a nutshell.
All right. You're muffled with that thing on. Okay. Approval of previous minutes.
Just correction on Eric Elot spelling of his name. Out of town now. Is that the only correction I saw?
Another thing I found in new business, when they're talking about the technical memorandum 3, it says at the bottom of the TPC consensus was in section 4 of the technical memorandum 3. I think it was actually section 2. I mean, section 4 is what the landowner has to do, but for us, when we decided that it was a subdivision rather than a public use development, that was covered under section 2, which has to do with more definitions of the difference of it.
Okay.
Otherwise, it look good.
You want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the March 5th, 2025, regular meeting. Minutes. As
Full second.
Discussion? In favor?
I,
Aye. Zoning administrators report?
It's been really slow.
Well, it'll pick-
As of the end of February, I gave out 2 lands.
question on the backside, where it talks about property owners. And Kirkwood Avenue sign, it's a Madeline Island Enterprises, what is that?
That's the candle shop.
It's a candy shop, okay.
Oh,
They just are doing another sign,
For their fudge.
okay.
for their what?
Fudge. They're making fudge.
Oh, that's right. Okay. That's interesting.
Maybe you
Anybody?
refer to the candle shop now, or to the fudge shop.
Probably candle flash. Well, on your running shoes, when things pick up, they're gonna go.
Yeah.
You don't. Old business, review land use applications.
I had 2 applications to review. One of them has no setback issues at all. They're building on top of an existing foundation. So there's really no issue with that one. The other one is Hillary Nelson. She's putting a camper in on her land on Miller Farm. And the setbacks, all directions are over 100 feet from property owners. So there's no issue.
Sanitation is,
She's, I have not given her camper permit yet. I gave her land disturbing and driveway permit, so she can get going with that. She needs to get a pumping agreement. She's gonna use the holding tank on the camper right now and have a pumper come in and pump it. I told her she has to have an agreement with the pumper so we can give her a sanitation permit.
Okay, new business, review Hartsel subdivision map, make recommendations to the town.
Bigger map that, your Nelson sent, if anybody wants to see a bigger form, but
this is correspondence that goes along with that
That
from
is-
his attorney.
yes, because on the application that I created for the subdivision, in the technical memorandum number 3, it states that any restrictive covenants need to be listed, and those are the restrictive covenants that he's gonna put on.
He is putting those on, huh?
I just picked this up before the meeting, so I haven't had a chance to dive into it too deep. I would assume this is kind of our preliminary read today.
Well, actually, we're hoping that this will pass through the best.
Well,
We don't really have any say over what he does as far as covenants or,
no.
No, they just have to be listed
okay.
in the application. And that's what those are, restricted.
So if you're saying you're looking for a recommendation to pass this on to the town board?
Yes,
Um,
I don't.
Is this-
All the lots are big enough. So,
And he knows about the requirement to have 6 inches of stabilized surface on there, gravel or whatever, not that. And the only reason I bring it up is because lately the town's been the townspeople are paying for dead end road improvements, Miller Farm Road. Which was partially a private road before the town took it over, and then same thing with Big Orange Road. I just want to make sure that he's following the requirements set forth in the technical memorandum number 3. In case the town ever takes this over, it's up to town standards and the town
Well,
taxpayers don't have to pay for it.
it would be foolish if the town would take it over without it being up to standards.
Well, yeah, but I know, but he needs to improve it up to standards.
Right.
he needs to go
Not
through
that
the
he only
first
puts
place.
on a half an inch of gravel and says, that's plenty good.
Yeah.
No, he has to put 6 inches in there. And you guys can laugh, but You know, the amount of money taxpayers paid to improve both Miller Farm and Big Orange Road, I thought was excruciatingly high. I mean, it's even higher now. So let's get this right at least. That's why I'm looking at this as a preliminary map, which is, this is our first read. It should be the preliminary. And if we have any questions or concerns, because again, I have not looked at this myself, so I'm not comfortable on passing this on till I have a chance to look at this. If you guys do, that's your business.
Actually, the standards are pretty lax and if, what was it? You were gonna be looking at 205?
No, we're talking about he's talking about the standards for the road.
Right, and 6 inches is really not enough. It needs to be 10 inches.
Well, at least 6 though.
Is industry standards.
Mhm.
And then there should be fabric put down too.
Well, that's fine. There's a lot of things that need to get updated in tech 3.
Right.
So if that's one of the things,
Yeah, that's why I'm
yeah,
bringing it
well, it's
up.
fine with me, but at least a minimum of 6, because that's what it is currently
Right.
in place of, you know, we haven't gotten to review that either quite yet.
So if this document goes to the town board and they approve it, is this binding?
Yes.
And and this,
He's got language in there, it says that 51% of the property owners, plus him, have to agree on any amendments to this. I mean, this, once this passes and gets recorded in Ashland County, these are the covenants for the.
the way Charlie does it, you know, we just got this today. And without having read it.
I put
Yeah,
up
but
a box a couple of days ago, but
But the contents, the
at
contents,
least yes,
Tuesday morning,
I must have did it right after you left.
that was yesterday.
the contents of the document don't matter. It just stipulates that he has to provide covenants, which he has, so.
And we don't really have any control over changing this.
No, so
It doesn't really matter what he put in.
it doesn't matter what's in there.
It just says he has to list all covenants for the subdivision.
And they can be amended at any time.
Okay, so we don't have any control over this document. Does the town board?
Not that I'm aware of. This is a contract between him and the people that are buying the property.
Okay,
But we still have to make sure that what he's doing conforms with tech 3. And that, you know, we're also trying to protect the potential purchasers of these lots in here. So that's why I don't want to be rushing through this, considering there's not only a preliminary meeting, which we haven't really had, with Mr. Hartzell or anyone else from his organization. Plus then there's a preliminary plat application, which is what I'm considering this as being before going into the final.
Well, if you want to really get technical, the preliminary hearing was last month when I presented this to you first time.
Yeah, but it wasn't completed like this. I mean, this map is different than what we saw the last time. Right?
So it's pretty much the same map as he separated into blocks and
This is what I had last month. So it looks different to me. That's the only thing. I'm trying to get pissy with you, but,
yeah, but I mean, he's got 2 blocks instead of just all the separate lots. These are the ones we approved on the CSM. But it's up to you guys what you want to do.
thanks.
It's your decisions.
Well, after listening to Charlie about the road, on page 4, it says surface driveway should be constructed with gravel or aluminous or bituminous surfaces. I mean, that's not very nailed down on anything. So.
So are you going to tell him that he has to build his roads before you're going to approve the subdivision?
We just need something somewhere stating that it's going to be up to the standards of this document. I don't think that's asking too much. Seemed like when Mr. Uloff was here last month, he was kind of interested in how, you know, the utilities were gonna be run. He had a lot of these questions, and granted, yeah, that's, a lot of that is between the purchaser of the property and Mr. Hartzell, the owner of the property. But at the same time, if you read this, don't we also have to go through and make sure that he's compliant with what this document sets up with the subdivision? I mean, that's why we're sitting here. We're not gonna do it, who is? I mean,
Okay, well.
we can say, oh, we'll take your word for it, but
Tell-
I mean,
Tell Bob that he has to prove that he's gonna have the roads up to standard before he sells any lots. If that's what TPC is recommending.
well, I just wanna have some guarantee that he follows through on what's in this document, that's all. And how we go about getting that from Mr. Hartzell or anyone else who applies for a subdivision, I don't think it's asking too much.
Well, how do we, what sort of documentation do you want from him? To prove that he will comply with the standards.
Is there a code that he has to build by a code for roads or something?
Well, yes, there's, in our ordinances, we have road standards for subdivision. And so then those roads, that's why they have a 66-foot easement for the roads, up to the standards. And then he has to,
The roads on this map are in a different spot than where the roads are currently right now. He moved them over on the map.
Which one you got there?
Well, he does have some things in here, like in, land use and site improvement. Section 2 says that, they will comply to all the laws codes promulgated by the county of Ashland, Wisconsin, state of Wisconsin, Department of Natural Resources. You know, if he put just a clause in there that says that he would comply with the town of Pointe
In the
ordinance,
town subdivision ordinance,
yeah,
yeah, that would find something as simple as that.
right,
like, so I've got it on the recording, I'll
Sure.
edit it.
yeah.
I don't think that's asking too much, guys.
No, I think it would make us all more comfortable that he's gonna comply with
I mean, we
what the
don't
town wants him to do.
require that of individual landowners. Because it's their property and it's one unit, one parcel. With multiple units like this, I think we have to have something in there that, like you say, will state that he will comply with the subdivision ordinances and everything that would apply to somebody that has multiple lots and is selling them. Because we don't want him to go in there and put in a road that's substandard and then say, well, you live with it. You know,
Yeah.
you bought the property and you're on this road, it's your problem now.
Well, and at the same time, to Paul's point that, you know, this only applies to whatever's in this document. Obviously, if the standards have increased since 2002, well, you know, I still, you know, I still want to see Bob adhering to this document, not whatever else it is out there, unless that's a state thing.
Well, I mean, there's standards listed there and then there's industry standards.
And I don't know if the state has a different, you know, without digging into it too much so far.
Yeah, as long as he's will comply with, you know, the town of Pointe ordinances and standards. I think it would be, because we have to look at all the people that are buying all these individual lots to make sure that they're protected.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not driving on, a mud pit
Right.
to get to their.
Well, and I mean, he's promising water and sewer with these lots. Moving the road and the size of the lots and whatnot, the curb stops for the water aren't gonna be in the same spots where they are today, but you know, he's promising water and sewer. As long as that's listed, you know.
Well, and that's up to him to
Right.
comply with the state standards as far as like a community well,
Yeah,
right? So,
so he has a lot of promises and obligations that he's gonna have to comply with the buyers of these lots.
I mean, this is why back in 2002, when we updated Tech 3, we had these steps so that we could talk one-on-one with either the owner or the representative. We have not seen that yet. So that's what is a little concerning to me, but There's no, it's just us talking, there's no back and forth with either Mr. Hartzell or his representative, whoever designated that,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, he's selling, in essence, selling lots in a development that needs a lot of, infrastructure.
Structure, yeah.
And that's,
No, again, I'm happy to see that you had an attorney put this together with Ed's assistance, but
Well, this seems that it's written more to make sure that people that buy the lots comply.
Yeah,
yeah, I
What he wants.
yeah, I skimmed and read it and I see no campers, trailers in there,
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's fine. He can do that
Mhm.
in a subdevelopment like this. But, we need something that's gonna state what he's gonna do and how he's gonna make sure he complies with the standards and the laws, the regulations, whatever we have.
Exactly.
So I think that's basically, I think that's all we're asking.
I'll relay that to him.
Yeah, and then I mean, I still consider this a preliminary myself. And then if he can make those changes, we can look at this for our next meeting. It's probably gonna be early May. So
yeah, I mean,
if he wants a meeting sooner, we can have something sooner. He'd have to pay.
I don't know why, time is of the essence, but
It's mostly because the buyers want to get in on the lots.
well, I mean, as long as they've got earnest money down.
And that can't happen until this is all,
Actually, technical memorandum number 3 says that they can offer the lots up for purchase contingent on the approval of the subdivision.
is he gonna be okay with waiting till?
He'll have no choice. If you guys wanna,
I mean, I would like it to move forward as quickly as possible too, because I think that's what most everyone wants, but still. Till we have an
and,
invitation that's,
I'll just tell him he's gotta draw up a document for the town that is saying that the roads will be up to standards and, what are we gonna do with just the document? Is that, I mean, if you go there in a year and there's no gravel on the roads, it's,
well,
cease and desist.
if he agrees to comply with the town of Pointe ordinances, then we have recourse. I think that's pretty straightforward that way.
so just amend. Actually, this is a contract between him and his buyers.
Yes,
He needs a separate one for the town of Blue Point.
yes.
Is that required in the,
Not that I remember seeing it.
yeah, again, either.
Well, you're relying on his honesty and it's nice to
Well,
have stuff
I mean,
in writing.
He should put in here then that the, whatever he calls himself in this document, the declarant,
Yeah,
will abide by his obligation to bring the road up to standards and, that's so that the buyers have that, okay, we know that he's going to,
right.
that should be in this document there.
Well, because, when the person purchases a lot from him and goes on to do whatever he wants with it, build something, that person has to abide by the regulations and by the laws of the town and
Mhm.
the state and everything else. So he should also be required to do that unless we have something in writing from him. Because there's common things that he's gonna control, like say roads and utilities and such. So I think we need to look at protecting all those individual buyers by having this document from him.
So he should add that to this, the declarations. And
Yeah, that would be, I think it would be fine if it was in there.
Mhm.
And if it's added to that, he doesn't do what the document says, what is his penalty? There's no penalties in this document.
No, but if he agrees to abide by the regulations of the town, then
But
there's
then what-
recourse.
But then what if he doesn't?
Well, you look at our zoning ordinance and what it says, that people. That might be a whole different situation there, because it's not just him, it's all these other people that are involved.
Well, he owns the road. At least for right now.
Okay, and is he gonna own the water and sewer and,
Yeah, all the infrastructure. And then,
The sanitary district will own the sewer.
yeah, they will get the payments for that. He will get his water, however he does that.
He'll be, you know, he's got the water rights and will be on a monthly basis.
We pay that.
Selling water.
has there been a subdivision developed on the island before?
No,
Is there any history?
Yeah, see, I'm wondering about, say, Islewood Road, of these named private roads, because that's what his is, the named private road. What standards were they held up to when they built that road?
But there were more than 2.5 acres per parcel, correct? So they don't fall underneath the premise.
It still falls under our ordinance for a private road and has to be built up to them standards.
But they're not going to go through what he has to go through because of the requirements of 2.5 acres per lot, correct?
They didn't have to go through the subdivision
Right.
map like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
This is, as far as I know, the first time this has been done. But everybody that has built a private road, according to our ordinances, were obligated to build it up to the town standards for private roads.
Yeah, they should, yeah.
And, if these roads weren't built up to standards, what is the recourse?
Well, normally in most municipalities, when they're doing subdivisions and there's road issues like this, they're purchasing a surety bond, listing the municipality, as the recipient of that surety bond if obligations aren't met. That's the penalty.
Which I'm sure no private roads have done anything like that yet.
Not here,
Yeah.
but it's something to look at as we move forward.
Sure. But also it's protection for the town. If he doesn't follow and make that road up to standard, the town has no business ever taking it over until it is improved to a certain standard. And whether he owns it by that time or it's some homeowners association, let's say, in another 20, 30 years.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no way the town has to take over a road.
No, but lately it seems if you petition the town to take over a road, they're obligated almost to do it. And then at what cost?
Yeah, well, I
That's
mean,
my only concern.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see this turn into another Miller Farm or Big Orange Road where it's,
yeah, well, I
really
mean,
expensive.
like Sunny Slope way on the end down there where it's a mess. The homeowners are going through trying to bring that up so that they can get it in and out.
Well, I mean, thinking back to Miller Farm, was the town made whole with the upgrades and the assessments, or did the town lose money? I mean, that would be my litmus test.
I thought the homeowners up there only paid for the culverts and some of the engineering, the town did everything else. Gravel.
I thought they were assessed for more than that, but.
Well, I'm sure their property values went up after it was completed. But anyways, getting back on task
And they
here.
paid a 10-year, not nowhere near enough, but they paid for 10 years on their property taxes for the road assessment.
But getting back to this anyways, not that we're too far off subject. I have no problem with, I don't think he has to do anything to the map. That looks fine to me. All the lots meet the requirement, size and width and all that. I don't have a problem with that. I really want to go through the process as I see it, and whether or not last month it was preliminary or not, I didn't think it was, but now that I'm reading this stuff, I think we can move on to a final at the next one after you've talked to Mr. Hartzell or his representative, go on from there.
but I agree.
So it's tabled until next month.
Consensus, everybody agree?
I think we should table it to.
Yeah.
Look at it and get some more documentation from Bob.
Yeah, it's not completed. We have to have assurances.
I mean, this is just too, it's too new. We haven't gone down this road before, I think.
And it's too big, too many people involved.
Yeah, I'd feel more comfortable getting some more information.
Well, there's a convoluted track record too.
I won't put that.
Just saying.
Okay, you ready to move on? We made a decision and it's gonna move forward, right? You're gonna talk to him and everything's on go. Okay.
No action tonight.
Discussion on draft ordinance, possibly set date for public hearing.
So we got finally through everything. You should have all of it, including section 16. I think that would.
I passed 16 out a while back.
Yeah, okay, so you've got the complete ordinance. And I'm sure it's gonna take some time for the TBC members to go through it, check everything. I know I haven't gone through it yet and, but, you know, we did present each section to the TPC and they have approved it, the draft to them. And so this is just, an accumulation of all those sections and hopefully we can move on with it. If we're comfortable, we could set a public hearing date now because it's gonna take a while to, I think we have to wait 2 months.
Months, yeah.
Are we gonna have a document that we can hand out to the public that shows what is being eliminated and what's being added? Is there a way to do that?
Not
But I
that
think
I'm
people-
aware of, I can't.
Like, we've done that in the past years ago. I remember when we went through zoning rewrites. I can't remember if it was Jennifer Kroonberg or Lisa Potts.
If it had been done,
I'm not saying I can do it, but
if it had been done as it was being changed, just crossing out line, you know, but we just made the changes in the document. You know, I don't have the capability of going through the old document and the new document, seeing what the changes are.
I'm just trying to find a way that make it easier for the layperson who's not at these meetings like we are every time to say, oh, this is what they're changing. And I know it was done in the past. You know, granted, this is going back 8 or 9 years, but I know we had the technology and whether or not it's still available. I know Dale did some work when he was on the commission with us as far as doing that. And I don't know what program he had. Unless that's something that we can get into the office up here to help Ed with that.
Whether I can learn that.
Well,
I'm right there with you, man.
It's there.
It would be some sort of a
Spit out.
Yeah,
program.
that's what Rick did. Lisa did it and Rick
Right.
did it.
And it showed what the differences were in the language. And I have no idea how to do that, but
I really wonder, Charlie, if that's all that helpful for people, because they're gonna look at this, I mean, I'm talking about the layperson that maybe never seen this document before. And they're gonna start going through it and they're gonna see something crossed out and something added. And I mean, there's a lot and there's new stuff in here. I almost feel that it would be better to present them, this is the way it is now.
Yeah,
Read through it, look at it. If you disagree with something, let us know and we'll talk about considering a change on it. But they have them look at every little phrase or word or paragraph that we eliminate.
We want to have them hand out to the public a clean document of
Yeah.
what we've changed
and have them read it, just read
I
it
just want
as
them to
is.
see the document that
as proposed.
is, yes.
Okay,
And
I see your point as well. I'm just,
yeah, I think it's almost, because it's not like 2 or 3 pages.
no, it's 100 pages.
Yeah, and it's a lot to go through and I think, you know, most people are gonna look at this and they're gonna open it up. And they're gonna look at that first page and they're gonna go, oh, zoning districts, signs, amendments, oh. That's what I wanna see, what are they doing on that? And they'll look that section up and they'll read that,
Yeah,
they're not gonna read it.
you'll pick and choose.
Nobody's gonna sit down and read for this whole thing. So they're gonna look at pieces of it, and if we can have them make it available for them to look at what we're gonna do now, how we're gonna propose the current ordinance, that they can look at it and say, okay, this is how it's gonna be, you know, can I live with that or not? Do I think it should be changed? If they do, come to the public hearing and voice their opinion on it.
Can we have several copies up by Georgine that people can,
Well, first, I'd like to get, TPC's permission to give this to the attorney.
Yeah.
And make sure the attorney has no issues with it. And, if that's the case, if I get permission to do that, I will, with Max's help, maybe we'll try and get it to an attorney tomorrow. And then as soon as we can get it back, if we get it back, then I will print up copies to,
and leave them at the front office?
yes. And give it to Alex to put on a webpage.
Unless we want to review it after it comes back from the attorney or.
Yeah, we probably should.
If he's got no issues with it, so maybe we should postpone this, setting the public hearing until we got it back from the attorney.
What are you thinking, like timeline, like late summer, August,
Well,
September?
July or August.
The only thing about, we've had this when we did the comprehensive plan is that
July.
try to do meetings in the summer, but then some of the locals don't like that because they're still working, but you want to include the summer folks, obviously. So, because we had plenty of local people that had a hard time coming to any of our listening sessions in the summer for the comprehensive plan. And it seemed like September worked out better for them, and maybe September is a better month. You still might have some of the summer folks here, like after Labor Day, but before Apple Fest. I'm just throwing out the month of September as a target. If you want to try August, that's fine too, but
I think it should be summer.
okay, that's fine.
And
I'm just
then
thinking if it is
and
summer,
then
late.
have issues of it up there so people can look at it and take it home, and it'd be nice if they'd bring it back when they're done, but
And you're not gonna make everyone happy. There's always gonna be somebody
Never,
that's
no.
a terrible time for me. So I'm just throwing out late summer or early fall, like early fall. September is fall.
oh, what does everybody
Actually,
think?
You know, the first part of September actually does sound like a better time. Because you're right, I mean, summers are really busy here and people are working and it's hard for them to get time off, and if they have time off,
Mhm.
they probably want to do something else besides go to a public hearing.
They wanna go play croquet.
Yeah, if they can, yep, they're welcome, come on down. So right, soon after Labor Day? With the
Yeah.
state,
First thing,
But first thing, yeah.
give it to the
right,
attorney,
right.
and then we'll see what the attorney has to say, hopefully by the next meeting. And see if we've got to do any changes or amendments to it for him. And then go from there.
Well, yeah, I don't think we really need to set a public hearing time right now, but.
No, but and so say next month, we have the approved draft from the attorney. I believe we can set a public hearing longer than 60 days away. So, I mean, we don't have to have it with, at that 60 days. If we wanted, but we have a date set for a public hearing. We announce that we're having a public hearing. And we have the draft ordinance ready for them. If we go 3 months out for a public hearing instead of 2 months, it gives people more time to look at the draft.
Right. Well, I'll make a motion that we have the zoning administrator present the revised zoning ordinance to the town attorney to look at.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye. Good.
And on that same note, then we'll wait and set the public hearing in the next meeting or the next. whichever.
Right, depending upon what the attorney says and.
Okay, commissioner updates. Fire numbers, they're pretty much done, aren't they?
No, we're gonna have to, Pete's talking about posting the position for an installer for the summer.
How many more have to go up?
There's quite a pile of them out there yet.
Really?
Yeah, and it sure be nice if we can get Angela back because she knows what's going on with.
Oh, she was swooper too.
Is there any way you can contact her and,
I've got her number.
okay,
Yeah.
to let her know that we'd like to have her come back?
Yeah,
Yes, I will definitely do that.
okay. Hartsville expandable condominium,
Nothing
zoning rewrite,
gone over that.
comprehensive plan.
Not much, just trying to look through tech three, if anyone has any changes that should be made other than the obvious, like changing the town zoning and planning committee to the town planning commission and not referring to the master plan anymore, which is from the seventies, and it's now the comprehensive plan. I've made those changes on mine, but like Paul said, there's other things to look at as far as road standards and things like that. And it needs to get updated, but I think it's also done just as well in a group setting. If we have to have a separate meeting for it or a workshop, so be it.
Well, I
We
think,
didn't reconstruct this in one meeting. I can guarantee you that.
I think we need to find somebody to be in a group with you to work on that, and with me, you know, in my office on whatever days of the week we can do it.
Sure.
Just spend a little of time until it gets done like we did with the ordinance.
If
Okay,
anyone has any other comments, please, forward them on to either Ed or myself.
Well, you and Dale, we're going to work on that, right?
Yeah.
And Dale's gone.
Yeah, and there was no chance of doing that because that was Dale's last meeting.
Yeah.
But it will get done.
Yeah.
future agenda items, we have a couple things down already. We have Hartsel of the subdivision and discussion on the draft ordinance, public hearing, anything else anybody can think of?
I would like to have the TPC consider having our zoning administrator go back to his previous job of approving all land use permits, not having to bring them to the TPC. I think it takes, I'd like to get it on the agenda for next meeting.
Okay. Anything else, anybody?
Chapter 205 is,
Let's wait until after there's the meeting. Glenn's tabled that until after Bryce has his informational meeting.
okay.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, Polly, you're up.
Thank you. A couple of things. You mentioned earlier, Ed did, about why would town take over a road that's not up to snuff? We've done it twice before. I know for a fact up on Miller Farm Road, 20-some people that lived up there, maybe still live up there, were bemoaning the fact they had to pay between $20,000 and $30,000. They neglected to mention townspeople pay, I think, $220,000, $230,000 in gravel alone. So yeah, that was probably from the Argentine. It's really could have been the other way around. And the other thing I'd say, it's more or less for Jim, Paul, and Ed, regarding the spelling rewrite. I talked to Dale, my son's out in Seattle. He mentioned back in February, he's gonna get in touch with Ed about his changes to the zoning board of appeals section. In the last month, I've talked to Tommy, I've talked to Boone, I've talked to Clay, Elam, that's the guy's name in Seattle. Those three, and they said they'd come up, get a copy of it and get back to Ed. I don't know, have any of them ever done other than David?
Nobody has gotten back to me on section 10 at all.
Okay, well, tell you what, I'll try and get back to them. And to reiterate, come on, we gotta look through this, we got any changes. The only thing I can still think of, the last time I looked at this, and I talked to you, Jim, back in January, was just that section about having to publish public hearing agendas, the notice. I know the state, when I talked to a state attorney at the Towns Association, he said that's been changed. I don't know if that's ever gotten taken out, or if that's something you want to talk to the town's attorney. It had a jive with state statutes primarily, because I ran into this last fall with the Dobson appeal. When the paper's only published one day a week, if something isn't up to snuff after it's been published, you're gonna have to wait almost 2 weeks before we have an opportunity to republish it, which is why you don't have to, according to the state attorney, you don't have to publish anymore, it just has to be posted. So maybe that's something you might want to make certain that jives with state statutes. If you still have paper published 6 days a week, it wouldn't be a big deal, but unfortunately, newspapers going the way of the dodo. For what it's worth, I would look through the entire ordinance to changes because the devil's in the details or the minutia.
Anybody else? Okay, next scheduled meeting is May 7th. I have a suggestion that we go back to 4 o'clock rather than 4:30. We were all okay with that until somebody wanted to change it, but everybody can get out of here. These folks can get out of here earlier that way. What does everybody think? It would maybe cause Paul some strife, but anybody else? What about 4 o'clock rather than 4:30 or no? Don't care.
Either way.
I'm okay.
Okay, what do you?
So what Paul were you referencing?
Never mind.
Always. 4:30 is better, but, everyone else wants to try 4, we can see how it goes. Doesn't have to be.
Want to try 4 o'clock next time? Well, then they can get out of here earlier, you know?
You mean town staff,
Yeah.
as long as it's not earlier than 4.
No.
I don't want to do a 9 AM.
We did 4 for a long time and we did fine. And then,
I'll see how it goes.
all right, 4 o'clock,
The world will change it. No big-
4 o'clock, May 7th.
Yes, and we don't know who's going to get appointed for our other member, and they may request pushing it to a different time.
That's
They wanted it at
happened.
7 o'clock at night, so.
Then I'm out of here.
That's not gonna
Then
happen.
I'm
Yeah, I kind of wish
gone.
Dale would have hung around until the end of his term.
We've got one more. Right?
No, today would have been his last meeting.
Yeah.
Oh. He's not here.
No, he said he wasn't gonna be here, but you've got Connie waiting in the wings with bated breath.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Wait a minute, I didn't say it. I'm just gonna keep you guys sitting here.
You're the one who wants to.
We want to get out of here, right? So, we're done, right?
I'm
Okay.
thinking about these
Good
guys.
job.
Okay, it
Thanks,
is
Norman.
5:10. Well, and everybody can go home or eat chicken
Stop
or whatever
smelling.
it is they're gonna do. Go shovel.